before we actually do our demo, let's go ahead and see what you and your group members decided in terms of where you should spear your laser. So I'm not going to get any questions or comments yet. Let's just do a raise of hands. So, sorry, Jack's not here. Okay, so how many of you think that Huey needs to spear above the fish with a laser? How many of you think below? So a couple. How many of you think below the fish? 4. How many of you think, so let me write this down. Above, below, and then directly at the fish. Okay, we've got 2. That's 8 foot boats. How many of you did not vote? All right, so let's do a little demo. We are going to start with a demo using the orange cup, and I want you to be very strategic. We're talking about your line of sight here. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to sit at your desk. You're going to keep your line of sight into the cup in the same place. And I'm just going to show you how you're going to set your cup up. And you're going to try not to move your line of sight once you set your cup up. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have your eye looking at your cup, and you want to move it so that you can actually see the coin in the cup. So I can see the coin in the cup. Now, I'm going to move the cup to the point where I am just not able to see it, right? So I can see the edge of my coin, and then if I move it just a little bit further, that's the point where the edge of the coin or the edge of the penny is no longer visible. Your clear cup full of water, you're going to stare at your cup, which does not have a penny visible, and you're going to pour your cup of water in. And just fill it up without overflowing. I don't think it'll overflow. Just in case it was slightly set up wrong, I want to make sure there's our penny. Now our penny has disappeared. Doesn't look like we have anything in there, even though we know we do. If I pour my water in, ta-da, the penny is there. So, how many of you now relate this back to our our warm-up? How many of you think that if you decided to spear that penny with a laser, that you should spear above the penny? Okay, how many of you think you should spear below the penny? All right, so I've got about half the class. Oh, a little more, probably most. And then how many of you think you should spear it directly at the penny?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, so we've got 3. All right, so many spearfishers will use this technique of spearing below the fish, because if you look at this image here, oh, not that image. If you look at this image here, we've got the line of sight. So the light that is being reflected off of the fish and into our eye is going to refract. It's going to bend because it's going from one medium of water into air. So we see the fish at this position because of this bending of light, but the fish fish is actually below, under the water. The position we actually see, just like the penny. If I tried to spear that penny where I saw it, I would miss. I would have to spear a little bit below it, right? Because as you filled it with water, the penny seemed to lift or appear right above. Now, why would some students decide that it still be directly at the fish then? If this is a technique used by all spearfishers, and it's pretty clear that the fish is below based on our little demonstration. Let me have Vincent.
Well, you're using a laser, so that it will refract and go towards the fish, just the same way as a light beam would.
So this is the little trick here, or the little kind of deep thinking that I wanted you to catch, is that this is an actual sphere, which is a solid object that doesn't refract. This laser is light. And it's going to, if you're trying to spear it with a laser, it's going to refract in the same way that the light ray refracts through the water. So for the three that decided you needed to hit the fish directly, you're correct. Because as you hit the fish directly, as a ray, it'll travel straight toward the fish. But because it's also a light wave, it's going to refract in the same way that the light from the fish refracts into our eyes.